You've probably been told that everything is fine in moderation, that a little treat here and there won't hurt. I used to believe that too until I started seeing the same patients return to my office, not with clogged arteries from bad genetics, but from the foods they ate every single day thinking they were harmless, men and women. In their 60s and 70 seconds who did everything right, took their blood pressure pills, walked their dogs, went to every checkup but still ended up with heart failure, bypass surgery, or a massive stroke, and every time, when I sat down with their families and asked about their daily diet, the same dangerous foods kept coming up. My name is Dr. Raymond Cole. I've spent over 20 years treating seniors and watching hearts break not just emotionally but physically. Today, I'm going to show you the common foods that quietly destroy heart health after 60 and exactly what to eat instead, without giving up joy or flavor. This isn't about guilt or fear. It's about love for yourself and the people who need you around. Let me start with something most people don't realize, and it's something I wish every senior understood. Your heart at 60 is not the same heart you had at 40. After decades of beating nearly 100,000 times every single day, that's over 2 billion. Beats. By the time you reach retirement, your heart muscle becomes stiffer, your arteries lose their natural elasticity, and your body's ability to process fats, sugars, and salt slows down dramatically. Think of your arteries as garden hoses. When you're young, they're flexible and wide. When you're older, they become like old, cracked rubber hoses left in the sun, stiff, narrow, and prone to bursting. That means a meal that was perfectly fine for you at 50 can trigger dangerous inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and blood pressure surges at 70. And here's the cruel part: the damage is completely silent. You won't feel your arteries hardening after eating a deli sandwich. You won't notice your blood vessels constricting after a sugary soda. You won't wake up in the middle of the night because a plaque is growing. No, the first warning sign for 1 in 3 seniors is a heart attack or a stroke. No prior chest pain, no shortness of breath, no fatigue, just sudden devastation. I remember a patient, let's call him Bill. He was 68, retired, loved his grandkids, walked 2 miles every morning. He came to me after a mild heart attack, completely shocked. He said, "Dr. Cole, I don't understand. I take my medicines. I exercise. How did this happen?" And then I asked him the question no other doctor had asked. "Bill, what did you eat yesterday?" He thought for a moment and said, "For breakfast, a couple of donuts and orange juice. For lunch, a turkey sandwich on white bread with chips. For dinner, spaghetti with meat sauce and a soda, and I had some cookies before bed." Bill was eating foods every single day that were slowly destroying his heart, and he had no idea. The donuts, refined flour and trans fats, the orange juice, as much sugar as a Coke, the turkey sandwich, processed deli meat loaded with sodium and nitrates, the chips, fried in inflammatory oils, the spaghetti, refined white pasta, the meat sauce, fatty ground beef, the cookies, more trans fats and sugar. Bill wasn't being reckless. He was eating what most Americans eat, and that's exactly why I'm making this video. Not to shame anyone, I love food too, but to give you the truth that your cardiologist may not have time to explain during a rushed 15-minute appointment. So let's start with the first and most dangerous offender, the one hiding in your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. The first food that destroys heart health after 60 is processed meat. I'm talking about bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli ham, salami, pepperoni, bologna, and even turkey bacon and chicken sausage. These meats are preserved with massive amounts of sodium, nitrates, nitrites, and other chemicals that directly damage the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels, a lining called the endothelium. When your endothelium is damaged, cholesterol particles can sneak through and form plaque. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed over 400,000 adults across 10 European countries for nearly 13 years. The results were staggering. Those who ate just 2 servings of processed meat per week had a 42% higher risk of developing heart disease compared to those who ate none. Let me repeat that: 2 servings per week. That's 1 sandwich with deli meat on Monday and a couple of hot dogs at a weekend barbecue. Not a daily habit, not a pound of bacon, just 2 small portions a week, and the mechanism is clear. Processed meats cause systemic inflammation, raise your LDL bad cholesterol, spike your blood pressure, and damage your artery walls. Your arteries become like old, cracked rubber hoses, stiff and vulnerable. Eventually, a crack becomes a clot, and a clot becomes a heart attack. I've sat with too many widows who said, "But he only ate bacon on Sundays." I know it's hard to hear, but if you love meat, switch to unprocessed options: fresh chicken breast, turkey not deli, Slices, wild-caught fish, or lean beef in small portions, and when you do eat red meat, keep the portion to the size of your palm, not larger. That simple change could add years to your life. The second heart destroyer is sugary drinks, and this one breaks my heart because it's so easy to fix. Sodas, sweetened iced teas, fruit juices, from concentrate, energy drinks, sweetened coffee drinks, and even those healthy bottled smoothies that are loaded with added sugar. After 60, your pancreas produces less insulin, and your cells become more resistant to the insulin you do produce. That's called insulin resistance. When you drink a single can of soda which contains about 10 teaspoons of sugar, by the way, your blood sugar spikes dramatically, often to levels seen in diabetes. That spike triggers a massive inflammatory response throughout your entire body, including your coronary arteries. Over time, this repeated inflammation leads to plaque buildup, which narrows your arteries and reduces blood flow to your heart. A 20-year Harvard study followed over 40,000 men and found that those who drank one or more sugary beverages per day had a 35% higher risk of heart attack or fatal heart disease compared to those who rarely drank them. And here's what really gets me: so many seniors switch to 100 fruit juice thinking it's healthy, but a 12-ounce glass of apple juice has about 9 teaspoons of sugar, almost as much as a Coke. Grape juice is even worse. Orange juice is better because of the vitamin C, but it's still a sugar bomb without the fiber you'd get from eating an actual orange, the safer alternative. Water, plain, sparkling, or infused with lemon, cucumber, berries, or mint, unsweetened tea, green, black, or herbal. If you miss the fizz, try sparkling water with a splash of real fruit juice, just a splash. Your heart will thank you with every beat. The third hidden danger is refined carbohydrates, what I call the white foods. White bread, white rice, instant oatmeal, most breakfast cereals, even the ones marketed to seniors, crackers, pretzels, white pasta, bagels, muffins, and pancakes made from white flour. These foods have been stripped of their natural fiber, bran, and nutrients during processing. Your body digests them incredibly quickly, almost as fast as pure sugar, causing rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. That same inflammatory cascade I mentioned earlier? It happens with refined carbs too. A large study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 2,000 seniors for 10 years. Those who ate the most refined grains had a 47% higher risk of developing heart disease compared to those who ate whole grains. But here's the good news: the switch is incredibly easy. You don't need to give up sandwiches or pasta or rice. Just make a swap: replace white bread with 100% whole wheat bread or sourdough, which has a lower glycemic index. Replace white rice with brown rice, quinoa, farro, barley, or wild rice. Replace instant oatmeal with steel-cut oats or rolled oats. They take 5 more minutes to cook, but keep your blood sugar stable. Replace white pasta with whole wheat pasta, chickpea pasta, or zucchini noodles. These changes don't require a complete diet overhaul, just small, consistent swaps that protect your heart with every single meal. The fourth heart destroyer is something that has been banned in many countries around the world but still hides in American foods: artificial trans fats. You'll find them in commercial baked goods like cookies, crackers, cakes, donuts, frozen pizza, coffee creamers, microwave popcorn, and even some brands of peanut butter and margarine. The key is to look for the words partially hydrogenated oil on the ingredient label. If you see those words, put the product back on the shelf. Trans fats do 2 terrible things to your heart at the same time: they raise your bad cholesterol LDL and lower your good cholesterol HDL. That's a double whammy. Even a small amount, just 1 to 3 grams per day, significantly increases your risk of heart attack and stroke. The FDA has tried to phase them out, but products manufactured before the ban can still be sold. Many small bakeries and restaurants still use them for frying because they're cheap and give a desirable texture. The safest rule is this: if you see partially hydrogenated anywhere on the label, put it back. Be especially careful with store-bought frosting, non-dairy creamers, frozen pies, and packaged donuts. Homemade versions using butter, coconut oil, or avocado oil are far safer, and they taste better too. One of my patients, a lovely woman named Margaret, used to eat a handful of store-bought cookies every night with her tea. She thought it was harmless. Her cholesterol was through the roof. We swapped those cookies for homemade oatmeal cookies sweetened with mashed banana and coconut oil. Within 3 months, her LDL dropped by 30 points. Small changes, big results. The fifth offender is excessive salt, and I'm not just talking about the salt shaker on your kitchen table. Most of the sodium seniors consume comes from packaged and restaurant foods, not from home cooking. canned soups, frozen dinners, jarred spaghetti sauce, salad dressings, pickles, olives, cheese, bread, and even breakfast cereals. All loaded with hidden sodium. After 60, your kidneys cannot filter excess sodium as efficiently as they used to. That sodium holds onto water, increasing your total blood volume, which raises your blood pressure. High blood pressure is the single biggest risk factor for heart attack and stroke. It's responsible for more deaths worldwide than smoking, obesity, or high cholesterol. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for seniors, especially those with high blood pressure or heart disease. But the average senior consumes over 3,400 milligrams, more than double the recommended amount. Here's what that looks like in real food. A single can of chicken noodle soup can have 800 milligrams of sodium. A frozen lasagna dinner can have 1,200 milligrams. A deli turkey sandwich on white bread can have 1,500 milligrams before you add mustard or cheese, and that's just one meal. The solution is not to stop eating, it's to become a label reader. Buy no salt added or low sodium versions of canned vegetables, beans, and broths. Make your own salad dressing with olive oil, vinegar, and herbs. It takes 2 minutes and tastes better. When you eat out, ask for sauces, gravies, and dressings on the side. And here's a trick I give all my patients. Cook with herbs and spices instead of salt. Garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, basil, rosemary, cumin, paprika, black pepper. These add flavor without raising your blood pressure. One of my patients lowered his blood pressure from 150/90ths to 130/80ths in just 8 weeks by switching to low-sodium canned goods and using Mrs. Dash seasoning instead of salt. No medication change, just food. The sixth food that destroys heart health is deep-fried foods. French fries, fried chicken, onion rings, fried fish, donuts, churros, tempura vegetables, and even fried tofu. When you fry foods at high temperatures, especially in oils that are reused multiple times, as they often are in restaurants, you create compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. These AGEs trigger massive inflammation in your arteries, but there's another problem. Fried foods are typically cooked in oils that are very high in omega-6 fatty acids: soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, canola oil. Omega-6 fats aren't bad in small amounts, but when you consume too much without balancing them with omega-3 is found in fish and flax seeds, they promote inflammation throughout your body. A large study of over 100,000 older women found that those who ate fried foods at least once a week had a 25% higher risk of developing heart failure. And if you ate fried foods 4 or more times per week, that risk jumped to nearly 50%. I know giving up crispy, crunchy, golden brown foods feels like a punishment. Food is joy, and I would never ask you to give up joy. But here's the good news. You can get that same satisfying crunch with an air fryer using just a tablespoon of healthy oil like avocado oil, olive oil, or coconut oil, or bake your fried foods on a wire rack in a hot oven. The air circulates and creates crispiness without submerging food in inflammatory oil. I have patients who swear by their air fryers. They make crispy chicken tenders, crunchy sweet potato fries, and even fried pickles, all with 80% less fat and no trans fats. You get the crunch without the artery damage. The seventh heart destroyer is one that surprises many people: red meat, especially fatty cuts like ribeye, T-bone steak, New York strip, ground beef 80/20ths or 70/30ths, and lamb chops. But even unprocessed red meat, when eaten in large amounts or too frequently, is problematic for seniors. A major study from the Cleveland Clinic, one of the world's leading heart hospitals, found that red meat consumption leads to higher levels of a chemical called taururemethylamine N oxide. Here's how it works. When you eat red meat, your gut bacteria digest a compound called carnitine and convert it into TAMAO. High TAMAO levels in your blood are strongly linked to heart attack, stroke, and even death from cardiovascular causes. The researchers found that people with the highest TAMAO levels had a 3-fold increased risk of major heart events compared to those with the lowest levels. That doesn't mean you can never have a burger again. I'm not here to take away your backyard barbecues, but after 60, your heart can't handle daily or even weekly large portions of red meat. Here's my practical advice. Limit red meat to once a week and keep the portion to about 3 to 4 ounces, the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand. On the other 6 days, choose heart protective proteins, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, or trout. Rich in omega-3s that reduce inflammation, skinless chicken or turkey, eggs in moderation, and plant proteins like beans, lentils, chickpeas, tofu, and tempeh. A simple swap replacing one red meat meal per week with a salmon or bean meal reduces your heart attack risk by about 15% over 5 years. That's a tiny change, with a huge return. Now here's where the real danger lies, and I want you to listen very carefully because this is the most important part of the entire video. Most seniors don't eat just one of these foods. They eat a combination every single day. Let me paint you a picture of a typical day, not an extreme case, but a common one. Breakfast: white toast with butter and jam, refined carbs, possibly trans fats in the margarine, and a glass of orange juice, sugary drink. Lunch: a deli turkey sandwich on white bread with mayonnaise and a bag of potato chips, processed meat, refined carbs, fried food, and salt. Afternoon snack: a handful of store-bought cookies and a soda. Trans fats, refined carbs, sugary drink. Dinner: fried chicken with mashed potatoes and a side of canned corn. Fried food, refined carbs from the potatoes, canned corn with added salt. Dessert: a slice of store-bought cake, trans fats and sugar. Each one of these choices alone might be okay once in a while, but together, day after day, they create a perfect storm of inflammation, high blood pressure, arterial damage, and insulin resistance. This is the dietary version of what we talked about in my medication video, polypharmacy, where multiple harmless things combine into something deadly. And the hardest part? Most seniors don't feel any pain or warning while the damage is happening. There's no chest pain when a plaque grows, no shortness of breath when an artery stiffens. The first symptom of heart disease for 1 in 3 people is a sudden, often fatal heart attack. But you can change that today, not by starving yourself or giving up all joy, but by making smarter swaps. Here is your 4-step action plan for a heart-healthy life after 60. These steps have worked for hundreds of my patients, and they can work for you too. Step 1. Do a pantry audit. This weekend, take everything out of your kitchen cabinets and refrigerator. Look at every label. Anything with the words partially hydrogenated oil, throw it in the trash or give it away. Anything with more than 400 milligrams of sodium per serving, put it on a eat rarely list. Anything with added sugar as one of the first 3 ingredients, consider swapping for a lower sugar version. This 1 hour of work could save your life. Step 2. Adopt the plate method. It's simple and you don't need to count calories. Take a standard dinner plate. Fill half of it with non-starchy vegetables: broccoli, spinach, bell peppers, cauliflower, zucchini, asparagus, green beans. Fill 1/4 of it with lean protein: fish, chicken breast, turkey, beans, lentils, tofu, or eggs. Fill the remaining quarter with whole grains or starchy vegetables: brown rice, quinoa, farro, sweet potato, corn, peas. This one visual rule automatically cuts out the dangerous foods and gives your heart the nutrients it needs. Step 3. Drink water. Most seniors walk around mildly dehydrated, which thickens the blood and makes the heart work harder to pump it. Even mild dehydration can raise your heart rate and blood pressure. Swap just 1 sugary drink per day for a glass of water, and you'll notice a difference in your energy, your skin, and your blood pressure within weeks. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber if plain water bores you. Step 4. Cook at home more often. Restaurant food, even food from healthy chains, is loaded with hidden salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats. Chefs cook for flavor, not for your arteries. You don't need to be a gourmet chef. Simple meals: grilled salmon, roasted asparagus, a side of brown rice, takes 20 minutes, costs less than takeout, gives you control over every ingredient. I have patients who started cooking 1 extra meal at home per week, and within a month their blood pressure dropped, their cholesterol improved, and they had more energy. Small, consistent changes win every time. I've spent my life caring for seniors, holding their hands in hospital rooms, explaining test results to frightened families, and sometimes delivering the worst news. And the one thing I've learned is this: your heart doesn't fail because you're old. It fails because of what you feed it day after day, year after year. But here's the beautiful truth: it is never, ever too late to change. I've seen 75-year-olds reverse their high blood pressure in just 3 months by cutting out processed meat and sugary drinks. I've seen 82-year-olds get off their cholesterol medication entirely by switching to whole grains and fish. I've seen 88-year-olds walk out of my office with tears in their eyes, happy tears, because they got their life back. You are not a prisoner of your past meals. Every new meal is a chance to feed your heart love instead of damage. Share this video with someone you love: your spouse, your siblings, your adult children who might be feeding you the wrong foods without knowing it. That share might be the most important thing you do today. Hit subscribe to Senior Health Hub for more life-saving videos. Next week, we're revealing the 5 foods that actually reverse artery damage. After 60, and you won't believe how delicious they are. I'm Dr. Raymond Cole. Eat smart, love your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.